Welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guest on this next interview. The U.S.-Ukraine talks in Florida have focused attention on what any negotiation framework might actually contain: security guarantees, territorial arrangement, and how a ceasefire would be triggered and enforced. Joining us today on TVP World to discuss the Florida talks is Yulia Sirko, a Ukrainian member of parliament from the Voice Party, a long-serving Reform voice in parliament. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello from Kiev.
So we're observing this result of the talks today, and a lot of language is focused on a very optimistic language, saying that it is terrific. The U.S. administration and the Ukrainian administration says they're like 90% there. But when we actually take a look at the specifics, it seems like the bottleneck that is stopping any kind of negotiation from going through, be it territorial or the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, is still kind of up in the air. So what's this mismatch when it comes to the rhetoric and the actual results of the talks?
I think because of the nobody saw a detailed plan, actually action plan. We just see political will, we just see framework. Even in Ukraine, in the parliament, we didn't discuss any particular or detailed plan. So at this point of time, we have a lot of guesses, a lot of ideas, but we don't have practical but devil in details. When you start discussing nuclear plant, how to protect it, how to share electricity, etc., then it's much more complicated and difficult than just a general framework. So let's see. The delegations, Ukrainian delegation, actually staying in the United States, and they will proceed with the detailed discussions on each and every point. But let's see what will be the outcome, because anyway, it should be presented in Ukraine, discussed in Ukraine, and finally actually presented to Ukrainian nation who is fighting on the front line. That's, I think, the main goal.
And observing the Washington administration's attempt at negotiating peace, this does seem a little bit like Groundhog Day, where we see the repeating cycle of the United States proposing some things, Ukrainians revise it, and then Donald Trump speaks to Russia and things somehow gets upended. Do you think that this round is going to be any different, or are there anything within this negotiation that might give a turning point, a pivotal point for the discussion going forward?
I think it's out of all rounds of negotiations and discussions with Putin. I think it's a more realistic round, I would say. If all sides will achieve, will find solutions on each and every out of 20 points, then I think it could be a peace plan. I even see that the Russia is behaving more, I would say, moderate and constructive than it was previously. So I think that Trump is the only probably person who can still talk to Putin and also to push Putin on to the negotiation table, because I don't see any other European or other leaders who could do it at this point of time.
All right, and speaking of Trump and Putin, there's this statement that Trump was making that Russia wants to see Ukraine succeed. Of course, that got kind of a reaction from President Zelensky, kind of a very weird look. But do you think that this rhetoric has something to do with trying to not poison the well before any discussion actually take place? Or do you think it's a miscalculation to have made that statement?
I think on this point, on this issue, Putin is just trying to please Trump. If Putin wants Ukraine to be successful and prosperous, then he shouldn't invade and shouldn't started this 12 years ago and full-scale invasion 4 years ago. So because he destroyed and made damage to Ukraine over $700 billion. So I don't think if you want to see your partner or neighbor successful, then you need to destroy the whole energy infrastructure and many residential buildings and burn cities. So I think it's just that Putin is trying to please Trump, because Putin is also not in the best situation at this point of time. He's trying to leverage between China and US, and also he clearly understands that he will not able to proceed with the war for over 12 months, more than 1 year. So he didn't achieve any of his goals, and he's trying to save his face, because the war has cost so much that he needs to cut social programs, social payments in Russia, and the Russian people becoming poorer and poorer.
And another thing, the draft framework being discussed reportedly includes a NATO-style Article 5 sort of protection. Do we know any details about it, and whether or not it could be realistically upheld?
I think the most realistic security guarantees it's a weapon on our borders, so we can protect immediately our country if it will be another invasion from Russian side, as well as a big and strong Ukrainian army. We see that the only army who can fight with Russia, it's basically Ukrainian army. So large and very well skilled and equipped army. This is our security guarantee, Ukrainian security guarantee, and all east front of NATO and European countries. And we need to finance it. So the financing of the army is also part of the security guarantees, the weapon immediately, in immediate proximity to take if Russia will invade, as well as partners who can help us in the situation of if Russia decide to break the deal and invade again. So I think this is the most realistic scenario. I don't think that the Article 5, anybody in the world understand how the Article 5 works in a crisis, in the situation of crisis. And I mean, we need very effective and quick tool, not discussions for 48 hours. Of how to sustain, how to help, etc., etc. We know that unfortunately, European and NATO organizations are so bureaucratical that you need a lot of time to discuss, and at that time, barbarians come into your land, burn your houses, and killing your families. So I mean, we need more effective tool, but if it will be also plus Article 5, we'll be happy.
Right, like you said. Russia is very likely to invade again if there's nothing kind of stopping them. And you've also warned before, rightfully, I think, that Russia does use these talks to buy time and push for things like sanction relief. Is there any indication that this round has any substance and not just another attempt at pushing things back so they can do what they want to do?
They actually they need 3 in 1. First of all, they need to save the face because this is unbelievably stupid war. Russia doesn't, and Putin doesn't achieve anything. They just occupied less than 1% of Ukrainian territory, completely burned territory, and they need to invest in this territory trillions of dollars just to keep them alive, back to life. And also, Putin wants a relief of sanctions, and Putin, what he mostly needs, he needs trade and investments, because his country, obviously, for 12 years of sanctions, of light sanctions, and 4 years of tough sanctions, they are decreasing. They actually destroying many sectors, their own sectors. It's airspace. It's many production cycles which depend on international and global chains. So and in this, and I think he realized if international community West will not invest into Russian economy, then China and North Korea will invest in Russian economy, and then they will slowly acquire this country. Right. In a period of 10 years or 15 years. So
it does seem like Russia has a little bit of incentive more than before.
But they need to stop the war.
Thank you so much for your input and insight. Really appreciate it, and thanks for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, stay tuned to TVP World.